In the vast, snow-covered expanse of Russia, a man named Vladimir Putin emerged as one of the most powerful leaders of the modern era. His rise from modest beginnings to the presidency of one of the world's largest and most enigmatic countries is a tale of ambition, intelligence, and an unyielding desire to restore his nation to its former glory. This is the story of a leader who shaped Russia's destiny and left an indelible mark on global history. Humble beginnings in Leningrad. Vladimir Vladimirovich Putin was born on October 7, 1952, in Leningrad, now known as St. Petersburg, a city still recovering from the devastation of World War II. The scars of war were everywhere, and Putin's early life was marked by the struggles of his family in a post-war Soviet Union. His father, a factory worker and former soldier, and his mother, a homemaker, instilled in him the values of discipline and patriotism. As a young boy, Putin was fascinated by stories of Soviet heroes, and he grew up in a time when the Cold War between the Soviet Union and the West was at its height. Putin, a quiet but determined child, was captivated by tales of espionage and adventure. By his teenage years, he had already set his sights on becoming a member of the KGB, the Soviet Union's feared and revered intelligence agency. The KGB years. Putin's path to power began when he joined the KGB after graduating from Leningrad State University in 1975. He spent years honing his skills as a spy, working in various posts within the KGB, including a pivotal assignment in Dresden, East Germany, during the 1980s. It was here that Putin learned the art of diplomacy, intelligence gathering, and, most importantly, patience. Lessons that would serve him well in the future. The collapse of the Berlin Wall in 1989 and the subsequent fall of the Soviet Union left Putin disillusioned, but not defeated. He returned to Russia at a time of great uncertainty, with the country in economic and political turmoil. But it was also a time of opportunity. Putin left the KGB in 1991 as the old Soviet structures crumbled, but he was far from finished with his ambitions. Rise to power in a new Russia. The 1990s were a tumultuous time for Russia. After the collapse of the Soviet Union, the country was struggling to find its footing. Corruption was rampant, the economy was in shambles, and the Russian people were facing hardships not seen since the war. It was during this chaotic period that Putin began his ascent to power. Putin's entry into politics was swift and calculated. He initially worked as an aide to the mayor of St. Petersburg, Anatoly Sobchak, where he gained invaluable experience in the political arena. His loyalty and efficiency caught the attention of key figures in the Russian government, and soon he moved to Moscow, where he began to rise through the ranks of President Boris Yeltsin's administration. By 1999, Yeltsin, whose presidency had been marred by economic crises and political instability, was looking for a successor. He chose the relatively unknown Putin, who at the time was serving as the head of the Federal Security Service, FSB, the successor to the KGB, and as Prime Minister. On December 31, 1999, Yeltsin resigned, and Putin became acting president of Russia. The early presidency, a new strongman. In March 2000, Putin was officially elected as the president of Russia. From the very beginning, it was clear that Putin was a different kind of leader. His focus was on restoring stability, rebuilding Russia's economy, and asserting Russia's power on the world stage. He sought to bring order to the chaos of the post-Soviet years, and many Russians, exhausted from the turmoil of the 1990s, welcomed his strong leadership. Putin's presidency was marked by a blend of pragmatism and nationalism. He worked to centralize power, reduce the influence of oligarchs who had dominated the Yeltsin years, and rebuild Russia's military might. Under his leadership, the Russian economy began to grow, thanks in large part to rising oil and gas prices, industries that Russia heavily relied on. For many Russians, Putin represented a return to pride and strength after years of decline, restoring Russia's power. Throughout his presidency, Putin's main goal was clear: to restore Russia to its rightful place as a global superpower. He was determined to reverse the perceived humiliation Russia had suffered after the fall of the Soviet Union. To achieve this, he pursued a foreign policy aimed at reasserting Russia's influence in its neighboring regions and on the world stage. One of the key moments in Putin's leadership came in 2008, when he briefly stepped down from the presidency due to term limits, but retained power as prime minister under Dmitry Medvedev, his hand-picked successor. Despite stepping down, there was no doubt that Putin remained the most powerful man in Russia. In 2012, he returned to the presidency for a third term, cementing his dominance. Under his leadership, Russia became more assertive in global affairs. In 2014, Putin oversaw the controversial annexation of Crimea from Ukraine, an act that was condemned by much of the international community but boosted his popularity at home. Russia's involvement in Syria in support of President Bashar al-Assad further demonstrated Putin's determination to re-establish Russia as a key player in global geopolitics. A strong hand in a changing world. Over the years, Putin's leadership has been characterized by a firm grip on power. His government has been accused of silencing opposition, curbing press freedoms, and centralizing authority in a way reminiscent of the old Soviet era. Yet, for many Russians, Putin's tenure has been marked by stability and economic growth, in contrast to the chaos of the 1990s. Putin has cultivated an image of a leader who is both tough and relatable. Whether riding horseback shirtless through the Siberian wilderness or diving into the Black Sea to retrieve ancient relics, Putin has projected an aura of strength and masculinity that resonates with many of his countrymen. His ability to navigate the turbulent waters of global politics while maintaining a strong domestic base is a testament to his political skill. Card: the legacy of a leader. As of 2024, Putin remains one of the most influential figures on the world stage. His legacy is complex and controversial, marked by both economic revival and growing authoritarianism. Domestically, he is seen by many as a hero who restored Russia's dignity and strength, but internationally, his actions have often been met with criticism and sanctions, especially from Western nations. Putin's story is far from over. His leadership has shaped the future of Russia, and his influence will likely be felt for decades to come. He has redefined what it means to lead a nation in the modern world, mixing nationalism, strength, and a deep understanding of geopolitical realities. In the heart of Russia, where history and power intertwine, Vladimir Putin has become an enduring symbol of Russian strength. A leader who has navigated his country through the shifting tides of the 21st century, standing tall as a reminder that, for better or for worse, Russia will always demand to be heard. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and share.